Hey everybody, it's William Xavier. Welcome back. Continuing on with the Caribbean Adventure travel album series. And this video, we're going to explore integrating one of the multi-pocket pages by Creative Memories into a 2-page layout. And so if you're not familiar with them, it is a 12 by 12. And you get 3 pockets for horizontal up to 4 by 6 pictures and 2 vertical pockets for the same up to the 4 by 6 size. And they come in 12 to a pack, right? So what I'm actually going to do is sorry, pull this out again. So you can definitely use these as they come in the pack, just like this. You can take out the cardstock placeholders here and just insert your photos and insert into your album. Has the white jeeping on the side. You can cut open the right and left side kind of strip sections here and add designer paper, cardstock, etc. What I'm going to actually do is use a fast to fab page that I got in a kind of a page sample pack, the old page sample pack that fits the theme of the Caribbean album that I'm working with. I believe they were sample fast to fabs from the Tropic Time collection, so they coordinate perfectly. And what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to cut the entire page to fill in the strips, to fill in the photo spots, so they're basically like mats for both sides. So because I completely forgot I had these 2 pages till I was rummaging through some of my stuff. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to use these. And B, I feel like these are where they're meant to be in this album. So here it is, the page that I'm going to be using. Again, it's a sample, came in the older, previous page sample pack. And I'm actually going to use this side, right? Because I'm going to use both sides of the pocket page to insert. And so I've already kind of got one ready for us to go. I just didn't do the strips yet, so I'm going to show you kind of the whole cutting part and how to insert those strips. It's fairly easy, but it's essentially going to go in between these 2 pages that were part of our excursion in Ocho, Rios, Jamaica, where we went to Conoco Falls. And I just didn't get the photos on the right side arranged yet how I'm wanting, but at Conoco Falls we did a kind of, it was like a botanical gardens plus the falls, so we walked around and got a lot of, I have so many pictures of so many plants and flowers that it was just not going to be possible to put them all together and not end up with 15 pages of just Conoco Falls. So I really had to narrow down, what was kind of a duplicate that I didn't really need, what would be the best out of the ones that I picked, to kind of limit it down to really just kind of tell that story. And of course, they kind of had some of the exotic animals out. They had a snake, which I did not go near whatsoever, and an iguana. And then they had this, I think it's not a parrot, it's not a cockatiel, it might be a macaw, that you could have on, let it sit, stand on your hand, or for me he put it on my shoulder. So those are going to be highlighted there with a little journal page and peekaboo pockets. And then the previous video we did the inking of the embellishments here. So this is going to insert here and can add more photos of the botanical garden walkthrough and Canoga Falls itself, that I didn't really have space here to put them all in without, you know, continuing with either the same layout or more layouts to keep going. So this way it kind of keeps that whole part of the trip together in one spot, which is what I'm aiming to do, as well as it coordinates really well as an insert to further just kind of add a little different page concept. And I like doing this in this way because I then have my double page spread as my anchor, and then I have my inserts that, you know, I will coordinate in some way, right? And then it ends with the other half of the layout, and then you continue on. So I kind of like doing it this way. So with that, let's kind of dive in. Let's get these pages off to this side. So first things first, right? I'm doing this because I want the sides to match. So obviously you don't have to if you don't want to. If you want to have different designer paper on both sides, you can certainly go ahead and do that. If you want it to match, you know, you use two of the same designer papers, it's fine. It will use up all but probably maybe half an inch strip altogether you'll probably have left over. But yeah, so I'm doing this with the Fast to Fab page, which is a standard page pre-printed. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut off the jeeping on both sides with our 12-inch trimmer first. I'm going to keep with the straight blade. I know I'm doing a lot of the ripped paper in this album. However, I just felt trying to rip 4x6s and then 5/8 and 9/16 might be a little bit of a pain. I then thought about using a decorative trimmer or decorative blade, and then the other thought crossed my mind, well, if the cut doesn't exactly line up, I'm going to have the opposite side coming through, and I don't want that. You could cut both sheets together with a decorative trimmer to get the same cut. I just don't know how well that might work with some of the decorative blades and then the thickness of two standard pages. I just opted to just keep them as straight cuts, and if I need to or want to, I can find another way to add ripped elements into maybe a side embellishment or something. So I'm gonna line up the jeeping, so where the jeeping obviously ends and our page begins, I'm gonna line that up on the trimmer with our cutting line. I'm gonna use my little guides that are at the top and the bottom. I'm gonna pop them out, and I'm just gonna make sure that I got that black line evenly to where the jeeping and the page meet. And that looks good there. So I'm going to go ahead and cut. And I'm just going to check to make sure. I need to go over again. That can happen sometimes, just the thickness of the paper. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the same on this side. Making sure I am not going to hit that jeeping. And then I'm going to cut. And I'm going to come along again, just make sure I'm good there. Okay. Next part, I'm going to cut the strip. Now, I like the pattern of the plants, so what I'm going to actually do is have that be on both ends to kind of just border it. If I didn't like that, you know, I can obviously use the print of the page, the end of the page, and insert that. Both look nice. I kind of like the idea of having it, of the plant print kind of coming on both ends. So first off, we need to figure out what size those are. So if you get a ruler and you take your pocket page, right, and we just kind of come in here, we can see, let me get my multi-purpose tool, a little pointer. We can see that the left side strip area, we want around a 5/8 of an inch strip. Okay. So we're gonna cut around 5/8. I'm gonna kind of be a little shy of 5/8 just to make sure I have enough room, especially with adhering two of these together, right? It's gonna be add a little thickness. I wanna make sure I can slide that in easily. On the right-hand strip side, we're gonna note that it's a smaller cut. It kind of looks even, but if we did 5/8, it would be tough to, we would really be trying to get it in there. So it's actually the notch before 5/8, which is 9/16. So I'm gonna cut around the 9/16, probably just slightly shy as well for that. So first let's do our 5/8 cut. And so again, if you're working with printed designed paper, pattern paper, directional patterns, just be very mindful of that cut and make sure you're cutting the paper in the pattern or direction that you're wanting. So I'm gonna come up to 5/8 and then I'm just gonna kind of pull back slightly. And if I'm concerned about a true matchup, I can get my 5/8 strip that I already have. I can line it up and see, am I going to cut the right, have a matching cut? It looks like I will. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Now I need that 9/16. So again, it's that first notch after the 1/2 inch mark. I'm gonna come in just a little bit under that. I'm gonna just size check it with my already cut strip. I should be good with that. I'm gonna cut. I'm gonna put my matching side strips together so I know that those go together. Okay, I'm gonna pop out my arm because now I have to cut some 4x6s. And so the first part, just making sure, yeah, all right. I'm gonna come in at my 6-inch mark here. And then cut. And I'm gonna rotate. I'm gonna come to my 4-inch mark. And I'm gonna do 3 4-inch cuts. Well, actually 2, because there we go. I got my 3 for the left pockets. Now I've got the remaining strip, which is going to be 6x4s. So I'm going to come to my 4-inch mark here and cut. And then rotate, and then I'm going to cut at my 6-inch mark. And so now I've got my 2 6x4s, or 4x6s, whichever. I got my vertical ones. All right, so now I'm done with the trimmer. Get my mat. I'm gonna adhere my strips together first. And And I'm going to just use regular tape for this, regular tape runner. I'm going to make sure that I've got the pattern in the same way that I want it to be. So this should be this way, I think. Wait. Oh, that's my 9x60. Wrong one. Oh, these are the 9x60. I got it. Okay. Okay. So I thought I had the wrong side. That's what was throwing me off with the pattern. Okay. And because it's a fast to fab, right? It's a mirrored image there. So I don't necessarily think it will matter which way I go. It'll just be like preference on that end. That, and then I'm just going to adhere together. Okay. And then I'm going to do the same with my 5x8s. And so this is the side that I wanted to make sure I want to pay attention, because I kind of want to carry that same pattern over. So I need this to be my top part. And then on this side, I will have these. There we go. I think they went this way, yeah. And so that needs to go that way. Okay. 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 Put those to the side. Now I can go ahead and adhere my pockets. So I'm going to do these one at a time so that I know this is the direction they should be going in. I just lost my tape runner. Here we go. I can see I'm a little bit off, and that's okay. I can trim them to match. I think what I had originally done was gone a little bit over the 6-inch, because I had, I was able to, and still have the enough of the sheet, or I wouldn't be short. I think I just forgot about that part, which happens. This one doesn't want to come out. side. I'll do my other ones next. And our last one. Tape runner's getting away from me a little bit. That's okay. Okay, we've got that. So then now we have to put in our strips. So there's a couple ways you can do this. My preferred way that I do is I have one of these Fisker's kind of blades. And then I use my ruler and I will make a slit along the top. Other folks, you know, you might not want to use that. You know, you can definitely use scissors. And, you know, you would just fold over, right? And then you can make your little, you know, cut and slit in there in that way. It might be a little bit tougher here, but there is a little bit of a lip edge that you can get a little bit of a fold in and make that cut and open up that part. I'm gonna go with the method that I use, which again is this blade. And I kind of just come to the top of that jeeping there. And I just make a slit straight across, make sure that it went through, and then I do the same on the other side. I'm just being careful not to cut into right where, you know, it is sealed. I don't necessarily want to do that. Okay, so now I'm going to get my strips. I'm going to put these in. I'm going to trim them after this, but I just want to get these in to kind of give some, make sure that I'm inserting them, you know, the right way that I had planned and wanted. So this might be kind of where you hit a little bit of a not really a snag, but you know, the thicker that we make what we're gonna put in here, the harder it will be to put in. So I think I might just have to give a quick trim just to help it along. So I'm actually gonna use my photo trimmer. While I have it, I can just trim this edge here. So I just need a little bit trimmed off. There's a little overhang, so I'm gonna get the rest of it and really be, there we go. Now it's a bit easier to get in there. Here's our next one, so we'll just go ahead. I'm already anticipating needing to do this, so I'm gonna go ahead. Take care of it. A little bit of an overhang here. Fortunately, doesn't quite matter which way they go in, because there's no pattern that I'm trying to follow. So those will go in with that. Okay. So now, just double checking. Is that the direction I needed? I think so. Yeah, because I cut another strip. Yeah, okay. So then what I like to do is I'll take my multi-purpose tool and I'll just kind of get into that slit and get into the into that section there, making sure that I'm not coming out the other side. I'm getting right into that strip area. Okay. And then get my strip of paper and then just slide it right in. And then I just repeat on this side. So actually, I'm going to turn it over. No, I don't need to turn it over. I just need to get this in between. Yep, there we go. And then decide which side I want this to look at. I think I want this. I'll try this way, see how it looks on both sides. So again, just get that in and slide in. So again, right, cutting just shy of that 5/8 and 9/16, we can see, right, it gives us that perfect size to be able to just slide it right in. That's what we're aiming to do. If we're fighting with it, then we need to either need to recut or trim off a little bit to get it to slide in easier, because it should just slide right in. So here we have multi-pocket pages that will slide right in to the middle of our 2-page spread. And they will ultimately coordinate and add just an extra, an extra page of to add pictures. You can always you can put a mat here with journaling, or a variety mat with one of the sayings on any of these. If you need to, if you don't have enough pictures to fill it, we can always use an embellishment mat pack as well, or create some embellishments, right? And so I think this coordinates very, very nicely and very well, and will help me continue that excursion to Canoco Falls without having to keep adding page after page after page, because I am working with standard pages, not top-loading pocket pages. But you could use this method with top-loading pocket pages as well. You can have these inserted. There's no rules that say you can't. So there we go. So I will be getting my photos ready to go, and actually what I plan to do will be to use the craft corners for them. So I'm not going to mat those photos, because it's going to add extra thickness to already what I have in here. I want kind of it to be easy to get my photos on and slide it back in. I don't want to be fighting with the thickness, but also just kind of add something a little different. I've already got a light tone behind it. I don't want it, unless I need to, I don't really want to be kind of fighting with adding more into it. But I felt that the craft corners would be a nice touch, alternating the corners, and it will tie into the medium craft mats and bamboo and border that I already have going in the layout. So I'm excited to get my photos trimmed a little bit to fit in here, because I did have them printed at 4x6s, 6x4s. So I just need to trim them a bit to get in here, and I also don't want to cover the whole thing. I want to be able to still see the background a bit. So I just have a little bit of cropping to do, and these will be ready to go. So I hope this was helpful. Hope you had fun. And as always, if you have any questions or any needs, feel free to reach out. You can always find me on Facebook at either William Xavier or More Memories. So links are in the description below. And if you need anything else, always reach out to your favorite advisor. Feel free to reach out to me. And I will be joining you next time, where we're going to start moving into the next port of call, which is Grand Cayman, Georgetown. So looking forward to figuring out those layouts as well and having you join me. So thanks again, and happy scrapping.